What's up, guys? It's Hayes with CheatSheetPros.com. Today we're going to look at Halloween Sunday NFL best bets. I'm going to run down my straight wagers, then I'm going to show you the dogs I think that can win this week, and then we're going to take a look at some teasers that I've already hammered. So let's go ahead and take a look at this first game. Buffalo, Miami, not touching that one. So we're going to jump over here to Carolina at Atlanta. Atlanta -3 is my first recommended straight wager. It is completely against my model here, which has the cheat line showing Carolina favored 1.5. Though what I like about this game is Atlanta's surging, they're playing at home, and Carolina's on a downhill slide. So Carolina last week against the New York Giants, who were not that good of a defense, managed only 173 total offensive yards, 3 points, and 11 first downs. That is absolutely horrible. Now, on the other side, Atlanta put up 397 yards, 30 points, 21 first downs. So they're starting to pick up some teams. The prior week, Carolina was also outgained 571 to 306 total yards. So Atlanta at home, lay the 3, pick on Carolina while they're down. That's play number 1. Scrolling down here to play number 2 is going to be Cincinnati over the New York Jets. So lines, Jets -10.5. Our cheat line agrees. We have it at exactly 10.5. Down here with the new model we have spitting out that we're testing. I like what it's showing me. It's got 33-10, 32-10, somewhere around that game. Basically, Cincinnati easily covering the spread. Now, right now, so the New York Jets are allowing the 25th most rushing yards and the 25th most passing yards and the 27th most total yards per game at 402.5. So I do not expect them to be able to stop Cincinnati. So Cincinnati should be able to put up 28 to 35 points in this game with ease. On the other side, Cincinnati's defense has been solid. They're allowing only 18.3 points per game, which is the 5th lowest, and then 339.9 yards per game, which is the 10th lowest in the NFL, and they are a solid rushing team. Also, the Jets are likely going to be with a starting QB. I think his name was White. I'm not 100% sure. I doubt Flacco can pick up the playbook and 4 or 5 days and then run an entire game. But either way, even if Flacco plays, we still like this. Lay the 10.5. We also have it on a teaser, but that's our second recommended wager for the day. The other one is going to be New England +4.5 at the Chargers. So here, line opened at 5.5 for New England. It got bought down to 4.5. Our cheat line has this as a pretty tight game. We got a slight edge over to the Chargers. So somewhere around 25-24, 26-25, somewhere within the +4.5 is what we're going to go with New England. And then down here on this other model that we're looking at, I really like what it's showing me. It's giving me a 27-21 New England game. So New England winning by 6 is a 4-point dog. So we like this as a money line dog play, which we'll discuss later, and then also taking the 4.5 points for a straight wager because that's a fair amount of points. Some of the things that jump out at me: Chargers are really bad against the run. They're 32nd, which is dead last in the NFL, giving up 162.5 yards per game, and then you're going up against a team that really likes to run the ball. Also, they're giving up the most yards per attempt. They've eclipsed Kansas City now at 5.4 yards per carry. So I think New England has a lot of success running the game with their running game. And then over here in the running back trenches, typically I use this for DFS, but for sports betting, whenever I see a lot of yardage, I flip down and I go to allowed yards per rush attempt to make sure that it also agrees. And then you can see the D-line for the Chargers ranks 31st. They're 30th in allowing runs of 5 to 10 yards and 28th in allowing runs of 10 plus yards. So New England's going to be able to move the ball in this game, and that's going to keep them in it, and I like them to stay under the spread, and I even like them to have a shot to win the game at the end if they keep this close. So New England +4.5 is our second straight wager, and then the other one I'm going to go down to is going to be Tampa Bay -4.5. Now this is a tricky game. As far as index ratings, you got the number 4 versus the number 3 team. The Saints have a solid defense. Both of these teams defensively, 9th and 8th least amount of yards, 1st and 3rd best rush defenses. And then the kicker for me here that is the difference is offensive yards per game. So Tampa Bay is putting up 423.4, which is second in the NFL. the Saints have been struggling, and without Alvin Kamara, it's even worse. So I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be able to follow Kamara, keep an eye on him, make sure he doesn't get out of hand. And so your offensive yardage here, you got second versus 29th, with the defenses being about equal. I'm going to lay the 4.5 with Tampa Bay on the road. Our cheat line agrees. We have this as Tampa Bay -9, winning 29-20, 28-18, 28-19, somewhere kind of down in that range. So Tampa Bay -4.5 is going to be the fourth play that I like. And then I've got one more I'm going to put in here, and I'm a little worried about it. So if you followed me for a while or subscribed to our channel, followed the articles, if you're in our Facebook group, you know that I live in Kansas City. I'm a Chiefs fan. You know, we were extremely excited when we got Patrick Mahomes, but almost every week I've been against him and saying, take the points, take the money line, take anything. I hope this is a get-right game for the Kansas City Chiefs playing on Monday Night Football at Arrowhead. I know everybody in Kansas City is excited for this game, but that defense has been awful. Now, the cheat line has this at Chiefs -2. We got them winning 27-25, 27-24, and I hope that's correct. I hope the Chiefs do win this game because we desperately need a win. Even down here in this other model we're spitting out, we got them winning by 5. But this line opened at 13 and quickly went down to 9.5. So 3.5 points of movement early to midweek is a solid indication a lot of money is going to come in on that side. Now, the Giants are not good. They are not impressive, but that Kansas City defense has just been absolutely awful. You can see Kansas City's given up the 27th most rushing yards and the 26th most passing yards per game. And if you look at total defensive yards allowed, they're giving up the 28th most defensive yards allowed per game. Now, in our projected YPP, our yard per point, we do have Kansas City about 2 points better, and that's fine, but I don't think it's enough to give up 9.5 points. I mean, do you really feel good laying 9.5 with Kansas City, saying they have to win by 10 after what we've seen the last couple of weeks? I don't. Kansas City, you can see down here, is 2-5 ATS, 0-3 ATS at home. So I think this is almost an auto play on the Giants plus 9.5. I'm not a Giants fan. I don't think anything great of them, but my word, to stay in a primetime game within 10, I'm going to go ahead and lean that for my 5th recommended straight play. Now, some of the dogs I like this week, typically I don't have a lot of money line dogs, but this week there are 5 of them that jumped out at me, 4 of them that I'm going to go over with you. So let's go ahead and start up here. Let me find it. So we're going to go in order of favorite down to least favorite. So Tennessee, Indy, where are they at? Okay, so we talked about, or actually, no, we didn't talk about that, did we? No, that wasn't one of my 5 recommended plays. Okay, I saved that for the dog. So my favorite underdog play is Titans plus 130. It may be plus 125 in your book. I like it for a straight bet on the money line, or I like to mix and match some money lines or college games with some parlay cards. I usually have a bunch going at one time. Taking plus 2.5 doesn't really do anything for me. I'd rather take plus 125, plus 130 to win the game, or throw it on a teaser. 2.5 is kind of the tricky, begging people to bet on Indy. Our cheat line, we've got it pretty much about pick 'em, so it would say take Tennessee plus the points. Down here, we've even got Tennessee winning by a point. Tennessee's making a statement right now. They've beat the Buffalo Bills. They've beat the Kansas City Chiefs, 2 top teams in the AFC, and they're going to travel into Indy, who's been really good, and they have a solid run defense. But statistically on paper, these teams are almost identical. They're both, decent defenses, decent offenses, but I don't want to lay the points with Indy. I would rather take the plus money and go with the Titans here. So Titans plus 125 or plus 130 is what I'm going to go with. The next game that I like is going to be the Patriots. Let me take a look here. Who were they playing? Chargers. Okay, so we have the Patriots money line over the Chargers, and this is one of the, this is the highest money line dog that we can back this week. And so We talked about the 4.5 with the Patriots. Well, the money line's plus 175, so it's almost 2-1 that they win this game. So I think they stay under the 4.5. I also like the money line here. I don't like that they're on the road, but they do have a shot to win this game. I mean, if it comes down to the wire, New England's going to be able to run the ball and move it down the field, kick a field goal, and have a shot to win this game at the end. So plus 175, I like that. I even like doing a Titans plus 130, Patriots plus 175 money line. That's going to pay really well because you're going to have two dogs together. And gives you something to root for, and you can put a half a unit or something like that on it. And then the other one is the Steelers. Let me find it. Who were the Steelers playing? Scroll up. Cleveland. That's who it was. So we talked about, in the past, we've talked about not liking the Browns. I do not like the Browns at all. I can't stand them. Rarely will you ever see me release a play on them. Now, this is completely opposite of what our cheat line. Our cheat line likes the Browns, has them winning by 7. But Pittsburgh, if you look into this game, so it looks like on paper that it's all Browns, but we can't stand the Browns, so we're going to go ahead and look at the Steelers here because on the book this morning they were plus 165, and so that's a huge payday for a dog. So our model has the Browns winning with a huge yard edge, blah, blah, blah. But when looking at this game, the Steelers started off slumping after week 1, but after week 1, they beat the Bills, and then they only put up 17, 10, and 17 points, and they gave up 26, 24, and 27. Then in week 5, they started to turn everything around where they beat Denver 27-19, and they held the total yard edge and first down edge. And then in week 6, they played Seattle. They kept it a tight game, but they beat them 23-20 with a 345-309 total yard edge and 22-18 first down edge. And they're coming off of a bye, and they've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game, which is a rivalry against the Browns. And I think the stats are heavily skewed on the Cleveland side because they beat Houston and they beat Chicago. So they were able to rack up some numbers there. But when they played the good teams, Cleveland played Zona and lost 37-14, and then they lost to the Chargers 47-42. I think the Steelers can keep this close and have a shot at winning at the end. The Steelers are getting better as the year goes on. They're getting their defense more in check. They're learning how to play with this crap offensive line that they do have. Now, don't get me wrong. Cleveland has a great defense on paper. It's phenomenal, but the Steelers always find a way to play an ugly, sloppy game and keep it close. Rarely do you ever see them get blown out. It's always something where it's a 3 or 4 point game coming down to the end. I don't like taking the 3.5. You could, because you're getting the hook there. That's a good line. So I think Vegas is asking people to take Pittsburgh, but I would rather go money line plus 165 and go for the bigger payday here. And then the fourth and last game that I have is, where did it go? Let me flip through these and find them. All right, here we go. Detroit Lions at plus 160 is going to be the fourth money line that I'm going to take a look at. So if you look down here, Philadelphia is 3-4 ATS, and even though Detroit is 0-7, they're still 4-3 ATS, but taking 3.5 points doesn't really do anything for me because the Lions are boom or bust. If they got shut out and beat 40-0, I wouldn't be shocked, but if they came through and won the game, they will win a game this year. So they're 0-7, and I think they have a shot at winning this week at home against the Eagles. Now you can see our cheat line. We've got it as a tight game. Down here we have Philadelphia spread a little bit more. But what really impressed me about this game is that the Lions went into LA last week to face the Rams, and they led them in total yardage 415 to 374. So they put up over 400 yards of offense against the Rams defense. Now, I don't think the Rams were really expecting him to do anything, so it's kind of a shock, but the Lions are trying, and they are playing solid games. There are several games they've been down there at the end. They've led yardages, first downs, but somehow they are still 0-7. But I think at home this weekend against Philadelphia, they've been close so many times that they've got a shot to come out and get a win this week. So Lions plus 160 is one of the games that I like. Now going on to the teaser bets. So let me go ahead and take a look at this. I'll go ahead and show you what I had in the article. So this is what I'm looking at down here. So the two teasers I bet, I did a 2-team 6-point teaser with the Titans and the Bills. Now the reason is the Bills are minus 14. They've already dominated Miami once this year, but I don't want to lay 2 touchdowns. So I teased it from 14 down to minus 8. So I think they can win that game by 9 or 10 points with ease. So I wanted to get some action on Buffalo, so I needed another game. So the Titans I like the most at 2.5, and I take it up to 8.5. I think that's going to be a tight game. After the Titans beat the Chiefs and sorry, my phone was vibrating. The Chiefs and Bills, I don't think they're going to lose to Indy by 9 points. So I'm going to take Titans plus 8.5 there. And then I also have a 3-team 10-point teaser. And what I did here is I took the Bengals from 10.5 down to pick, or minus a half if you want to be technical. So Bengals just to win the game against the Jets, which I think that'll be easy enough to do. And then once again, I took the Titans from 2.5 up to 12.5. A.J. Brown's healthy. Derrick Henry looks good. I think they can stay within 12.5 of the Colts for sure. So I love the first 2 games. Those are almost locks for me. And then the third game, I was kind of torn on where to go. So if you're going to X off one of these games and pick one of your own, I would X off the Bucs game. So I don't like crossing 0. That's a big no-no in the sports betting world when you're looking at teasers. But I'm going to take this from Tampa Bay minus 4.5. I wrote plus. So Tampa Bay minus 4.5 to plus 5.5. Now, against the Saints can't score a lot of points. Both defenses are good. So even if this game stays close, I think Tom Brady can get down there and, get within 5.5 points. So I like that for the 3-team 10-point teaser. So just to recap what we're going to have in the article this week, straight bets, we've got Atlanta minus 3 over Carolina, Cincinnati minus 10.5 over the Jets, New England plus 4.5 against the Chargers, and then Tampa Bay minus 4.5 against the Saints. And then we're going to go ahead and hit number 5 because we don't want to have an even number of games. We're going to take Giants plus 9.5 against Kansas City. Dog money lines that we like this week in order of favorite from top to bottom, we have Titans plus 130, Patriots plus 175, Steelers plus 165, and then Lions plus 160. And then once again, our 2 teaser bets, we have a 2-team 6-point teaser, Titans plus 8.5, Buffalo minus 8, and then our 3-team 10-point teaser is Bengals pick'em, Titans plus 12.5, and Tampa Bay plus 5.5. If I have any other games, I will post them on Twitter, so make sure you follow us at CheatSheetPros, and we'll talk to you later, guys. Good luck.